Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, the Gameskeeper has returned. He's come back down from the mountain, and he's brought with him the gaming news. Microsoft have announced their latest games, and the Gameskeeper has collected all the information together and brought it to you, the people. So yeah, there's that. There is video for this. We do the social distancing, but it doesn't stop the videos from happening. So if you're not checking us out on YouTube, please do jump over to YouTube, check the video out. While you're there, give us a little subscribe, because it does help the channel out. So yeah, here we go. This is CookieCast, the Gameskeeper. Right then. It's not even Friday. It's not even Friday. We're jumping the gun because of big announcements. So
yeah. Plus I had a couple of weeks off, so you know.
Yeah, a couple of weeks back in the cave, living the life of a games aficionado, journalist.
I quite like that word.
Connoisseur.
Connoisseur, games connoisseur. Yeah, that makes me sound like some sort of like wine buff or something. Yeah, I quite like that.
And obviously, you have that whole thing where you have to recharge every so many weeks. So
pretty much.
But yeah, day early, and full of news.
Oh, so much news. There's been loads going on.
Kicking straight off. Why are we going a day early? Go.
Because Microsoft Xbox did their games showcase tonight. It was at 5 o'clock. So you guys are getting this like hot off the press, yo. So basically, Microsoft went through a lot of their own exclusive games plus other stuff that was coming to the console. It was nearly everything I think was a world premiere trailer. And there is some really nice stuff. If you were sitting on the fence about whether you should get an Xbox or a PlayStation, I would probably say you want an Xbox. I have to say,
from the stuff that's come out, it feels a little bit like the Xbox has been the sleeping beast.
Excuse me.
The PlayStation 5's like, hey, look at us, and everyone went, ooh, what have you got? And they went, nothing. And then Microsoft were like, hi. Let's show how it's properly done.
Don't get me wrong, the PlayStation showcase was alright, but there was more things where I went, ooh, yeah, when I watched the Xbox one. So, I mean, they kicked off with Halo. So, most notably, one of the things they've done to Master Chief is added a grapple into his fist. So he shoots the grapple at the bad guys, pulls himself in and elbows them in the face. That's kind of a cool move now. I can see Achieve, which is do that 100 times. And it looks satisfying. The game itself, it looks really familiar. It's nothing particularly like new. I mean, in the little trailer thing, they did a trailer and the guy had like maybe 5 minutes gameplay. And he basically came out of the ship, killed some monsters, threw some sticky grenades like they do, killed the same old Covenant monsters, got into the Warthog, like drove that around like a crazy person, got into a lift, went up the lift, kind of had a look around at the vistas. The things that are important are, graphically, it's beautiful. So the vistas and the environments are really nice. The grapple is just, I can't wait to use that. And the overall smoothness, because there's a higher frame rate, the game's really smooth. So when there's loads going on, there was a scene where he was kind of shooting all sorts of stuff, and there was no lag or like, you know, you get that like sometimes it judders a bit when there's too much on the screen. None of that. All really smooth. And this version of Halo is going to be an open world RPG, and the map apparently is bigger than the last two Halo games put together. So it's very much a free roam. There's some gamers were saying after, in a little interview, they were concerned that it was going to detract from the storyline, that you just kind of end up doing side missions and stuff. I suppose that is a worry. But this looks kind of nice, with a big map, big open map. I think it looks like they've got a story. And if you've been following Halo Infinite from day one, you'll see on the actual website there's like a 5.5 minute trailer. That sets the story up pretty good.
Yep.
So that was the first big announcement. Then it was State of Decay 3. Right, I was like, this is so exciting. The trailer, if you haven't seen it already, is so cool. So basically there's a woman camping at night. She's got a crossbow and it's snowing. And there's like a wolf or something kind of is looking at her through the trees, and it growls and she kind of screams at it, like as a normal human, and it runs off. Then the next day, she's kind of traipsing through the forest and follows the trail of blood. And she kind of pulls up the crossbow to see the wolf, but the wolf is dead and it's being eaten by a zombie deer. Right? Yeah. And that was like the end of the trailer. So it's but it's really well made. So obviously it's like zombie animals. We haven't had zombie animals before in State of Decay. This is new. So where are we going to go? Is it going to be more survival-esque? Is it going to be you versus the wildlife? Is it going to be David Attenborough on steroids? Like, what's going on? So
Zombie bear.
So yeah, so there was that. That was quite cool. And the other big announcement, obviously, was Fable. Now, I can't tell if this is Fable 4 or a Fable reboot, because it's only titled Fable. It didn't say Fable 4 or Fable Dark Knight or Fable Lost in Translation. It just said Fable. Cool trailer though, very beautiful trailer. But it was really small. It was like basically a fairy flittering around. She goes one place, something happens. I don't want to ruin it. I feel you should watch the trailer. She sort of does something, and then it kind of pans away to the city, and then it says Fable, and that was it. It's probably like a minute and a half long. There was no talking about it. There was nothing. So that's quite big, because I mean it's a decade since Fable 3. So it's a long time in the making. And if they go down the way they've always done Fable, it promises to be a good game. If it's a reboot, it will be less enticing, because obviously for those of us that did Fable first time round, well, effectively we're playing it again. And to be honest, I was saying this to somebody the other day, when I played Fable first time round, graphically it looked great, because that was the best we had. So yes, it would probably look great now, but I've already played it. So I'm hoping that it is a sequel. More details as I get them. What else did we have? We had Avowed, a game called Avowed, which is being made by Obsidian Studios. So they do Skyrim and all that kind of stuff. So this looks very Skyrim. In the trailer you saw a guy firing some arrows at some skeletons, and then it kind of went into a cave, and this guy, first person view, pops up with a sword, and his hand kind of does that, and he fires out some magic, and there was like a big monstery thing coming down the corridor. You didn't get to see that, you just heard it walking. So that was cool. That looks good. Again, graphically looks beautiful, very smooth. Couple of fun games in there. There was a game called Grounded, which it looks like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You're basically little human beings in the backyard, and it looks like it's multiplayer. And from what I could tell from it, you've kind of got to build your little house and fight like spiders and ladybirds, but they're all giant because you're obviously like minuscule. So it looks fun. It looks a cross between like Plants vs Zombies and Fortnite, I guess. So that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a game called The Gunk, which is like this kind of cartoony looking woman with like a mechanoid arm, and she kind of runs through this. What is it? It's weird. It's a really lush, kind of beautiful, coloured landscape, like jungly, but with all like glowing plants and stuff. So that's all kind of 3D and normal, and she's almost like a 2D character, which is kind of weird. But it kind of it works. But I didn't really get what it was about. She just seemed to be on the planet. There was this weird slimy stuff, and then she kind of went, "Oh, it's the Gunk," and there was some sort of shooting, and then it kind of zoomed out, and that was that trailer. So a lot of the trailers were only like a minute and a half, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, short. What else do we have? there were loads of things. I mean, obviously a lot of it you can pick up on YouTube now. I'm just trying to think of the things that were exciting. Oh yeah, Crossfire X. It's a game that's been on the PC for ages, and it's looks like Ghost Recon kind of Rainbow Six, but like fast, really fast paced, really cool. There's like a decent scene, so there's a really good single player campaign where you can play as the good guys or the bad guys, so you can do the campaign from either point of view. And then as multiplayer, you just kind of drop into teams and do all sorts of cool stuff. But again, the trailer's awesome. I watched the trailer, I was like, I have to play this. There were like cool swords, knives, shotguns, guys in wingsuits, like helicopters. Also, it looked like Ghost Recon on coke.
Sweet.
And that was kind of it. They're for me, they were the highlights from the Xbox showcase. In other news, I've got Splinter Cell. So I obviously gave you a shout out earlier, because we were talking about Splinter Cell. So the Italian voice actor that does Sam Fisher, he announced on Twitter that he's pretty sure that Ubisoft have got the concluding chapter to the Splinter Cell franchise. So that's quite definitive what he said there. The guy is kind of semi-useful, because in 2018 he kind of said the same shit, and then he had to retract and say, oh, actually, sorry, but the information was misleading. But not strictly true, because he probably did the voice acting for Sam Fisher for the Ghost Recon Wildlands things. So I thought about, when I read that, I was like, maybe that's not true. Maybe he just was unlucky that he thought he was going to do a whole game, but only got like 6 words. I don't know, I mean, I could see how you could misunderstand that. You were expecting a script in the post and you get like an A4 page. Like this new Splinter Cell, that's very short. So that's quite interesting news. That's kind of it from top news.
I mean, as far as Splinter Cell's concerned, it's a good long while since the last one. Yeah, they've kept us interested as far as putting Sam Fisher into Wildlands and Breakpoint.
Yeah, he's in Breakpoint. There's and not in Wildlands. It was like one mission. In Breakpoint, it's like a whole chapter. So he's got like a really big part to play in Breakpoint.
Which is either them just keeping that character around and alive and like cross-worlding that person.
Maybe it just seems like a weird thing to do.
Isn't
if you want to create, they've got other characters.
Because they've kept the Rainbow Six thing going.
Yeah.
But then hasn't there been an announcement about a new Rainbow Six?
Well, sort of. It's not sure whether it's going to just be continuing updates for the current Rainbow Six or not. Ubisoft have been
their
unclear
original
as to
statement,
what they want to do.
Their original statement about Rainbow Six Siege was that they had a 10-year plan for that game. They had a long plan for. They were going to release it.
They've literally only just updated it with a load of new stuff.
There was a thing about there was more people playing it a year after it was released than there was at release.
That doesn't surprise me.
It was a game that just, picked up momentum as it went, and then that was at the point that they started going, oh well, we'll start putting some work in, putting some updates out, and people just continue to play that game. They have hit that concept, that nail concept, well and truly on the head. And then they came out with this thing saying, we've got big plans for this game. We're going to keep building on it, keep working on it, which would suggest there's not going to be a new one anytime soon.
No, I can't. I don't think so. I did see I saw a list a while back, probably 6 months or so ago, that had like a load of updates they want to do, and we're not even halfway through that list. No. But the list was current because there's a lot of stuff on there which they've done. So I think it was a real list. So Rainbow Six does seem to be. I think Siege is going to stay for the time being. But I do genuinely think there's a Splinter Cell in the works, because at the end of August, Ubisoft launch Elite Squad on the mobile,
Mm.
and that's basically like a cross-platform of all characters. So you can play as Nomad, Sam Fisher, Rainbow Six characters, even El Sueño. It's kind of cool. And the trailer for it's fun. It looks really cool. But again, Sam Fisher is like, they've really focused on that character in the trailer.
Mhm.
So I think we haven't seen the last of Sam Fisher. I would say watch this space.
I don't want to make it too morbid, but how old's Michael Ironside at this point in time?
Well, actually, I have some interesting news about Michael Ironside, because I wanted to find out why he didn't do the last Splinter Cell. So Ubisoft originally said that he hadn't done it because they wanted to have a younger, version of Sam Fisher. That's not really what happened. Michael Ironside had bowel cancer, prostate cancer, stomach cancer, and some others, which he recovered from, and came back to be Sam Fisher for Ghost Recons. And in a recent interview, he turned around and said, "I am Sam Fisher."
Yeah.
When Michael Ironside tells you he's Sam Fisher, you just nod your head and go, "Jester's dead," but he's not. Yeah, he had all sorts of cancers and survived. So I mean, he must be knocking on, but because he looked old in Top Gun.
Well, this is the thing. He's always been of a certain age. I'm just trying to see if I can quickly.
You're googling the Ironside. For anyone not watching this, if there's silence, Andy's currently googling the age of
Yeah,
Michael
you can almost smell it.
Maybe we won't tell you, and you should just tell us. But you're not allowed to look; you have to guess.
So,
go on.
Born 12th of February, 1950.
Oh, he's quite old then.
So he will be 70.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, he says 70. I mean, like I say, he was really ill, and now he's not. He's fully recovered, and he's back.
And if he's come back doing the voice.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought they'd wheel him out for nothing. That seems like something they wouldn't do. But interestingly, talking about actors doing voices, something came up on Facebook a couple of days ago about the amount of famous people that were in GTA Miami.
Yes.
Have you ever actually... So I remember at the time going...
I remember at the time.
That's really exciting. And Burt Reynolds, that's really exciting. But if you actually look at the rest of the people in that, everybody's really famous. Danny Trejo's in it. Tom Sizemore, he's in it. Another guy, I can't think of his name, but when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that guy." But apparently, at the time, when the Rockstar suggested that these actors do it, they were just like, "This is beneath me. Why the fuck would I want to do that?" Ray Liotta was like, "Why am I doing this? This is a waste of my time." And apparently, Burt Reynolds threatened one of the guys in the studio when he was asked to redo some lines. Burt Reynolds was like, "I don't redo lines. I don't redo lines. Well, are you fucking taking the piss?" Because they just thought it was a joke. But then it obviously became what it is now, and now actors are queuing up at the door to... I'd like to go up to Keanu and say, "What do you think about doing Cyberpunk?" He liked it so much that he wanted a bigger part. Whereas Ray Liotta was like, "I ain't fucking doing this. This is bullshit." How the times have changed.
Yep.
Anyway, I digress. I just, I threw that out there because it's a little bit of trivia. I'm surprised they haven't remastered that. That's a game I'd play remastered. Oh, which reminds me, I'd like to touch on your last in the last podcast you mentioned about there being 1 or 2 reboots out there.
Couple.
So since you've mentioned that, I've seen no fewer than 25 reboots. There are so many. And yes, I agree with you. I think that this is money for old rope.
The Sony announcement, for me, started off on possibly the worst foot. The start of their announcement being, "We're remastering Grand Theft Auto 5 because we haven't wrung every single penny out of it yet." First $1 billion game.
I know, I remember.
and
That was like over 2 years ago.
yeah, oh, we can still get a few more quid out of that. Then when it went to, we're remastering Demon Souls, and I'm like, remastering a PS3 game, and it just went from there. Bethesda announced that they are remastering Skyrim.
Oh, okay. Well, I see that Destroy All Humans has come out this week.
Yeah.
Which is a PS, it's a Xbox 360 game.
360 game that nobody was clambering to get to.
Actually looks really nice though.
It looks nice, but even when it was originally released, I owned it, I played it, it was fun, but just for like a bit of a play, it wasn't like
59 quid's worth.
No. And that's the other thing. What we're being told is, hey, do you remember all those games you really enjoyed? Well, guess what? You get to play them again with slightly, and let's face it, slightly better graphics.
Yeah.
For a lot more money.
See, that was something tonight in the Xbox thing, which was interesting. They really pushed was that every single game they announced was going to be on Game Pass. So I was sitting there calculating how much money I've saved by having an Xbox. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that PlayStation do a similar thing with PSN, or PS Now, isn't it?
So that you've got PSN, and you've got their other multitude of things that you can sign up for. This generation of PlayStation Network has been truly awful.
Right.
Because
Xbox Game Pass has got some great stuff on it at the moment.
I've saved a fortune through Game Pass, and as I keep saying to people, I don't remember the last time I turned my Xbox on. I honestly can't think the last time I turned my Xbox on. Yet I've still saved a fortune just by going, oh, they've got Game Pass on for a month for £1.
Yeah,
I'll get it. I didn't buy Crackdown 3 at day of release, which was an absolute blessing.
Yeah, because it was terrible, wasn't it?
Oh. Yeah.
See, the thing I like Game Pass for is things like Fallout. I was saying Fallout 76 has been an abysmal game, but I obviously started playing it again since it's on Game Pass, and it's really good. But I'm glad I've got it on Game Pass because, like, it means that I can pick it up when I want. So when they do the updates, I can just grab it. Sea of Thieves, another good example. If I bought Sea of Thieves,
that was a good example.
It was terrible when it came out, but now that's like a really good, fun game to play. It's changed so much, and they've got like top titles. I mean, if you think like tonight, if you got State of Decay and Halo and Fable and Crossfire, like you've got like a couple of £100 worth of games there that you could play technically all in the same week if you wanted for a tenner. I don't see where you can go wrong. And Xbox this week, they've got rid of the 12-month gold subscription, so you can't do that anymore. You can only have monthly or 3 monthly. So there's now a rumor going around that that's because what Xbox want to do is they want to push Game Pass so badly that they'd rather you have Game Pass than have gold. And it means that if you don't have gold, they're talking about getting rid of pay to play, so you can play online for free. So if they do that, that would be a massive change. So they're basically saying we don't need gold. If you want to play online, but we'll entice you to buy Game Pass. They're confident enough that Game Pass is so good that people will just go, oh well, if I've got Game Pass, then that's fine. Which is it's a good marketing strategy.
It's a good marketing strategy.
Like I'd be happy to play, if you could find a console where I don't have to pay every month just to play online. I think they'll attract a lot more gamers. Even if they don't play Game Pass, they'll attract a lot more gamers that will play their games because they've got a lot of exclusives and they own so many studios.
Yeah.
I think Microsoft have probably got it in the bag for the next year or so.
Were they in the running for buying Warner Brothers games?
Yes, Microsoft are. Yeah, they're looking at buying it. Yeah. And whoever gets it gets Rocksteady as well. Rockstar. So that's quite impressive, really. They want Warner Brothers, but I don't know how that's going because the Nintendo deal of having Game Pass on Nintendo Switch has fallen through apparently, because they're saying that it's too hard to port across. Like they wouldn't be able to offer the same amount of games that you could use on the Switch.
Yeah,
so they're saying that's because they're looking at cross-platforming as well, and they're saying that they think it's not going to work. There is a detailed kind of article out there, but I kind of skim read it. But it looks like that's kind of off the table for the moment. But we'll see. I mean, Microsoft, the new head guy of Xbox, seems pretty switched on. He seems to know what gamers want. And to be honest, after looking at what they showcased tonight, I would say they are on the ball. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. And that concludes my news roundup of the last couple of weeks.
Wonderful stuff.
Obviously, if you want more, you can follow me on DGR. There's lots more on there.
There is. I was there today.
There is. Yes, it's even more on there now. We've got all the new showcase stuff is on there. There's like, we all printed like 100 articles in about 5 minutes. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Terribly written, because we wrote them so fast, but looks nice. Pictures are nice. Lots of trailers. So yeah, so that's me.
Wonderful. Good roundup of the Microsoft stuff and general stuff that's going on right now. Sounds good.
Alright, cool.
Right. Well, thank you very much for that. And
I'll be back next Friday, usual time.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah. I'll let you go back to the cave. Right, cheers for that.
So there you go, what do you think to that? All the news for all the games in one place, one time, one man, let's say that. Cool. YouTube watchers, do subscribe, be a love. You know you want to. Go on, do it. Do it while you're there now. Go on, do it. Everybody jump over to thecookiecast.com, check us out over there, send us some form of love, whether it's social media or email. We don't mind. We like that. So that's it for this one. Till next time, going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.